Howdy, this is PhantomStrider. Let's talk Japanese cartoons, aka anime. There's some anime I grew up with that I just don't enjoy as much as other people. Most of these have changed the anime industry and started new trends in their wake. But I find they have such nagging flaws that they infuriate me. And of course, since we're talking anime, we need the help of a true master of anime. A true master of anime. Huh, normally that does something. I'll try saying it louder. We need a true anime master.
Did someone say puppeteer, master?
What? No. It's good to see you, Matt, but we're talking anime.
Oh. Well, feel free to call on me when you're talking Nintendo.
I certainly will. Hey, do you mind calling Robyn for me? I think my crossover static is broken.
No problem, Josh. I'll call her for you.
Much obliged, Matt.
Did someone say master of anime?
Aha! If it isn't Anime America. Welcome back, Robyn.
Great to be back, Strider.
Remind me to fix that later.
Would you mind helping me out this list?
I'd be happy to help, but are you sure about this list? Some of these titles are pretty controversial. I'd be happy to give my opinions on your choices, but are you absolutely sure you want to go through with this?
Nonsense. We're part of a mature community. I'm sure people wouldn't dislike the video just because they disagree with me.
Well, okay. Even though I don't agree on some of your choices, I am happy to give a second perspective on what I thought of these anime.
Hey, thanks, Robyn. Then let's check out the top 5 anime I hate that everyone else likes. Just to note that there's a very good chance there's an anime you like on here. And I'm not saying these animes are technically bad, just that they have these massive nagging flaws that really bother me. But I'll explain my reasons as best I can. After all, it's just my silly personal opinion, so take this list with a pinch of salt.
Or several heapings of salt.
Well anyway, on to the countdown. Number 5. Haruhi Suzumiya.
Okay, what is wrong with Haruhi Suzumiya? I personally thought it was a charming, energetic school drama with a nice absurd twist and a nice commentary on existential crisis.
Well, that's the thing. A part of me likes this anime, but another part of me really hates its nagging flaws. Haruhi Suzumiya did have a strong underlying commentary, and I think the concept is brilliant. But to me, the entire story felt so frustratingly muddled. I just don't quite get the amount of praise that is heaped on this series. Kyon was okay, but I actually found Haruhi pretty annoying. When I first saw this as a teenager, her over-hyperactivity and selfishness often grated on me. I mean, just the scenes like where at one point she callously frames a high schooler by sexually assaulting Mikuru. Or for that matter, just the way she unendingly tortures Mikuru.
No! From now on, Mikuru, whenever you're in this room, you gotta wear this outfit. No!
And throughout the series, they're constantly dressing poor Mikuru up in these ridiculously skimpy outfits. And what is she, 16?
That's classified.
Alright, so I do admit the fetish outfits are a little unnecessary, but welcome to anime.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a little titillation, but all the scenes with Mikuru just seem so exploitative to me. The most memorable part of the first season for me wasn't any of the stupid pervy shots. It was the cab scene, where Kyon and Itsuki are in a cab talking about Haruhi's bizarre nature and the absurdity of the universe they live in. It's one of those timeless moments in anime for me that feels like a very real conversation between two people.
The most memorable part for me was where Kyon and Haruhi are standing at the train tracks and Haruhi explains how insignificant and worthless her actions feel within the unsurmountable scope of the universe.
Yes, exactly. Those are the sort of moments that left an impact because they're not just cliched, scantily clad baseball games or school antics. They felt relatable and showed us real character fragility and development.
But that's still a whole lot of good qualities about the anime. And what about the top-notch animation? The anime was made back in 2006, and even now, it still looks beautiful.
Well, that's why this one's at the start of the list, because there are qualities I like about this show. But things like Haruhi's obnoxiousness and the overexploitation of Mikuru just feels dirty and annoys me. My other main gripe is the muddled story feels like it's building to something but ends up slamming to a halt at the end of the first season. Maybe season 2 resolved the story further, but it took nearly 4 years to come out. Season 1 left me confused and disappointed after all the potential it showed.
Oh, come on, Strider. You can't tell me you don't remember this song.
No, I don't remember it. What are you staring at, Robyn?
No, you'll see soon enough.
And for number 4, Elfen Lied.
Elfen Lied? Well, to be honest, I actually have a few complaints about that show too.
Really? Well, after you then, I insist.
Well, I didn't really get why every Declonius had to be nude all of the time, and it sometimes felt like it did scenes purely to shock the audience.
Precisely. While I've no problem with violence in anime, it normally has to be for some artistic purpose or reason, to add to the story, message, or drama in some way. And what's infuriating is it's pretending to be deep with its violence, but it's not.
We get constant scenes of mass genocide, decapitation, sexual abuse, and even children slowly killing a puppy. But there doesn't seem to be a strong artistic reason behind these scenes. They just seem there purely to shock.
And that's what bugs me about this series. The more I watched it as a teen, the more I felt like it was trying to manipulate me.
You've gotta admit though, the animation is, again, very crisp and smooth, even if it's mostly being used to blow people's head off in a fountain of gore.
I certainly agree on that. The animation is simply gorgeous, but the story felt so flimsy to me. Basically, the human-like Diclonius species is treated like monsters, understandably, because they have invisible hands that can rip people's ligaments off effortlessly. We meet one that has committed mass genocide but is taken in by strangers because, well, she has split personality disorder.
So the show ends up awkwardly jumping between a cute harem anime and an ultra-violent NC-17 rated mass-killing gorefest. Of course.
Another gripe I had was that so many of the characters in Elfen Lied didn't feel like realistic representations of people to me. There's this stupid underlying theme that people are cruel, but none of the people feel like realistic human beings to me. It feels like most of the people are cruel just for the sake of the story.
Excuse me?
500 yen. If you don't have it, get out of here. Beat it, kid. I said get off the damn street.
But Elfen Lied does get a lot of praises, so maybe we're just missing something.
That's true, and there are a lot of good points about this show. One thing I did like about Elfen Lied is some of the main characters are really endearing.
You bitch! You did that on purpose, didn't you? Idiot.
Sorry about that.
And the third anime I hate that everyone else likes is Sword Art Online.
Sweet David Bowie, Jesus help me! This anime!
Dot Hack already did it, and better. In fact, I'd argue Dot Hack Twilight did this artificial online world shtick better, and that was purely a cheap knockoff. Sword Art Online is not a new concept. It's been done before, and far better. In the vast future of 2022, Kirigaya is on his computer, playing a game. But it's cool and amazing because it's an online virtual world directly connected to his brain. And then it turns out they can't take the wires in their brains out or it will fry their brain.
If I die in the game, I'll die in real life.
What government, what organization would allow this to be freely distributed to the teenage market? You know, the brain frying software, the instant killing stuff? Yeah, let's just send that out to the teenagers.
I actually felt the show started off promising, but it quickly began to feel lazily written to me. It slowly devolves into what feels like the mini adventures of the Chosen One, Kirito and his waifus.
You're You're totally seducing him with those things.
I'm seducing him. If you were any closer to him, he'd be wearing you.
Kirito's the cool loner who doesn't hang out with the others because he's so super cool. He's cool in the game. Can you feel the strings being pulled here? I loved MMORPGs as a teenager. In fact, I still log into my old Ragnarok Online account occasionally. But this just feels so pandering.
Kirito feels like such a transparent otaku power fantasy that it almost feels manipulative to watch.
The whole thing just feels kinda weird and sad to me. These poor kids have such rotten real lives that they have to fantasize about escaping to a fantasy world? Meaning the people watching are fantasizing about fantasizing to escaping to a fantasy world.
In my opinion, the heaviness of this story is massive. Thousands of players are dying, trapped in a digital world, one by one. Yet it ends up feeling like we're watching a harem anime with shallow characters.
And my complaint is the whole damn concept. It just feels so inherently sad that the new generations aren't fantasizing about being a leader or changing the world. No, these poor kids are aiming so low that they are now fantasizing about escaping to a better online fantasy world, reaching level 100 of the dungeon before anyone else, maybe being so powerful someday that they're not charged a subscription fee. Oh, come on, Robyn, let me in on the secret. The curiosity is killing me.
I don't think it's your curiosity that's gonna kill you. Have you seen your dislike bar?
Jeebus! Well, let's press on. I'm sure no one will mind my last two choices. The original Neon Genesis Evangelion.
And I'm not alone on this one, yes! Come join me, Strider, as together we shall bag on Neon Genesis Evangelion, the one anime that has been praised so many times as one of the best animes of all time.
I just wanted to...
Even though we kinda don't like it, can we at least agree that it's a good gateway anime?
Well, yeah, it was a good gateway anime. And honestly, I loved this anime as a teenager. But while I was obsessed with the original series and movies as a teenager, the older I got, the more frustrated I got at its massive annoying flaws. The Evangelion remake movies, 1, 2, not 3,
This should be more enjoyable.
perfectly mix the entire Neon Genesis series into a cinematic, emotional masterpiece of animation.
Thank you, Ray, for trying to bring me and my dad together.
I'm sorry I couldn't. I wanted you to be happy.
It doesn't matter. This is all I need.
But in my opinion, the original series had so many problems.
Though the show is considered by some people to be the greatest anime of all time, it's personally never been my cup of tea either. It feels like it's an inappropriate power trip fantasy. For some reason, we have to rely on emotionally vulnerable teenagers to save the world. Personally, I've never been able to get on board with pilots having to be exactly 14 years old to be able to power fleshy, humongous embodiments of God.
What bothers me most about Neon Genesis is the characters don't grow or progress. In a normal story, characters rise from their challenges and learn from their experiences. But in Evangelion, each character starts strong and slowly regresses until they're depressed, empty shells of their former selves.
Sync ratio 0. I can't be the second child anymore.
The only character I really liked was Masato, who does progress and grow.
Hey, no offense taken.
And the only other character that rises to the challenge is Kanji, and he gets shot.
You're a little late, aren't you?
Asuka, in particular, is made to be too obnoxious and dislikable to relate to.
I'm sorry.
I've really hit rock bottom when I get sympathy from a loser like you!
And by the end, Gendo was regressed from a troubled father into a mustache-twirling supervillain. And then there's Shinji. Get in the Ava, Shinji!
How can you say that? Why do you have to be so cold?
Surprisingly enough, I actually never minded Shinji that much. He can be a bit whiny, but hey, if I was an orphaned 14-year-old with a dead parent, I probably wouldn't be ready to have my mind violated by giant alien organisms either. People often cite this show to be incredibly deep, but even the director himself, Hideaki Anno, admits that most of the symbolism was completely meaningless.
感じがするから
そういう名前にしました。
On the plus side, the intro was majestic, epic, and really set the tone for the rest of the anime. It's so catchy that I actually added it to my top 10 catchiest anime opening list.
That is true. There's a sense of otherworldly majesty to Cruel Angel's thesis that still rings a bell with me, even 16 years after I originally saw it. But apart from that, the soundtrack seems to be constricted to 2 songs? Every time the Ava comes out, we're treated to the same stupid song of dun, 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 dun. Ugh, I hate that stupid song. I am so sick of that song. If I hear that stupid song ever again, I'm going to go bonkers.
But with all of that aside, the positives of Neon Genesis have left an incredibly strong impact on anime culture.
And no one can deny that. The original Evangelion introduced so many of us to the sophistication of anime, but overall, I felt it had so many frustrating flaws that I personally don't like it nowadays.
It just keeps getting higher and higher and...
Ignoring it, let's plow through to number 1. Death Note.
Death Note? What's wrong with Death Note?
One thing, and it's a big problem. Light Yagami. That smug, arrogant little snot Light Yagami.
My own personal gripe with Death Note was the later episode's story fell flat. The ending felt so disappointing too, but what's wrong with Light? He was working throughout the series to bring order and peace to the world.
But he does this like a childish, insecure 17-year-old little jerk.
And if you don't do exactly as I say, she will die, and so will the rest of your family.
Throughout the series, he's clearly made out to be the bad guy. But we spend the entire series watching this unlikable little pretentious jerk win all the time and watching the good guys lose.
No, I can't laugh yet. I've got to hold it in. They're all gonna die.
I cannot stress enough the satisfaction of seeing this mass-killing, pretentious little jerk get his just desserts at the end.
Matsu, you idiot! Who the hell do you think you're shooting at?
But what about L? I mean, the social chess game that L and Light played against each other was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, I admit, it was. I really liked characters like Masa and L. It was thrilling to see L crack the cases. But the whole time I was watching, I just wanted to see Light lose. And his ego was so painful to watch as he continually manipulated and killed people. And frankly, the fact that no one could figure out that Light was Kira after all those years is ridiculous. At least in the original live-action Japanese movie. L points out that based on the analysis they made of Kira's IQ and age, it was likely to be Light. And that took him about a week to figure out, yet alone years. I mean, seriously, you have a concentration of some of the greatest detectives in the world, working around the clock to find Kira. How the hell could none of them, after multiple years of searching, not pick up it was the pretentious, arrogant 17-year-old with a god complex? He couldn't be more obvious if he just yelled it in their faces. It seriously took a child genius many years later when the damage was done to figure it out?
Well, you've got to at least admit, it was a very engaging police drama questioning the careful moral balance of freedom and safety.
And I can definitely see that. The anime does have a lot of intelligence and some very elaborate detective mysteries. But because of Light, and Light alone, I could not stand Death Note.
And a small minority of people did have that response to the series. Despite all the positives, the negatives for some people was Light Yagami was too unlikable of a character for the series to be enjoyable. But most people can look past that and enjoy the series as a smart, engaging, supernatural detective drama with a fairly disappointing ending.
It's important to point out though, most of these anime have been game changers in the field of Japanimation, and have often been gateway anime that allowed a Western audience to see that anime is more than just Sailor Moon.
Hey, don't you be dissing Sailor Moon.
Haruhi, Evangelion, Death Note, and even Sword Art Online have helped popularize anime around the world, and more great anime was created because of their success.
Well, thanks for hearing out the anime that I don't like, but most other people tend to enjoy. And if you do like these anime, I'd love to hear why. What makes them special to you? And if you've got an anime you hate that everyone else likes, feel free to leave it in the comments below.
I'm actually really curious to see what anime viewers personally choose as the ones that they dislike the most. And if you want want to see a video where I talk about anime everybody around me likes, but I don't, check out the link to that video in the credits.
Thanks for dropping in and give a bit of your perspective, Robyn. It's always great to have you on the show.
Hey, anytime, Strider. It's always fun to drop by.
And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Bye!